Galaxies, and I will be reading you in continuation chapters 4, 5, and 6, The Last Book in the Universe by Rodman Philbrick. The most awesome book ever. So we're gonna open the book here. And we're going to be on Chapter 4, The Girl with the Sky-Colored Eyes. So, on the way back to my cube, I get sighted by a proof, which scares me halfway dead. I'm cutting through this old falling down place they call the Maximum, which used to be full of trade stalls in the back times. They say that every stall was piled high with jewelry and fancy clothes, and mysterious gizmos, and lots of shiny things nobody really remembers anymore. They say that there were stalls with 10,000 different kinds of chalk bars instead of just one. Probably that's a lie about the chalk bars, but I'd like to believe it. There are still a few traders at the Maxime, but they're protected by bristle bars and cut wire, and the techs will beat you with stone sticks if you haven't got anything worth trading. I'm keeping my distance when a Tagvi pulls up one of the stalls. Tagvi is slang for tactical urban vehicle. The heavily armed, cyber-driven vans that proves used to get around the herb. If you're paying attention, you already know that a proof is a genetically improved human being. They're the people who own the world, or at least the part of it that they still copied in. You can always tell a proof because they're tall and beautiful and healthy looking. The other way to tell a proof is how they look at you. If you're a normal, a proof can't help shuddering inside when he sees a normal. We give them the creeps. We're a reminder of what human beings are like when they're not born perfect. And I guess if you're a proof, the very ideal of imperfection makes you want to throw up. Anyhow, a bunch of techs, that's short for technical and security guards, get out of the tech. 6 of them, all talking to each other in their implanted headsets. When they take up positions and get the all clear, the tech doors falls down and out comes this proof. A female dressed in a shimmering white gown that you can almost see through, but not quite. She's got beautiful gray sky-colored eyes and perfect skin and short hair that sort of glows like the sun is always shining on her. I'm staring at her. You can't help it with a proof. It makes me ache inside and feel scummy on the outside, like I should hide myself from her perfect eyes. But I don't hide. There's no place to go. And for some reason, she notices me. Her hand goes up to her face and she touches her perfect ear, communicating to the text in her implant. I'm thinking, run boy, they're going to join into Como just for looking. But suddenly there's a tech close behind and I can't get away. Halt, he goes, and I do. Like most techs, he's wearing a protective face mask so I can't see his expression. Is he going to choke me with his stunt still? Or what? I'm bracing myself for the buzz and hoping it won't set off spasm when he goes, follow me. When he does this, he takes me to the proof, which is like unheard of, a proof allowing a normal to approach. But that's what happens. And I can see the proof girl is young, maybe my age. Proofs don't wrinkle much because of their genetically improved skin, but you can still tell whether they're young or old if you get close enough. And this one is definitely young, maybe 14 or 15. And her teeth are white, not yellow like normal teeth. I wonder if all proofs have white teeth, so perfectly white. Do you have a name? She asks me. I want to say, what do you think? Just because we're not perfect, we don't have names. But all I can manage to get out of my choked up throat is spaz. Spaz, she says, like she's tasting it on her tongue and isn't sure Stop staring, you, he orders me. Your eyes are dirty. There's nothing wrong with my eyes, but I do what he asks and stop looking at the beautiful proof while she goes trading. And the tech hands me a small plastic bag with edibles inside. Protein bars and carbo shakes and Chuck's bars and stuff like that. The way he does it makes me think that the proof girl does all this all the time. Hands out goodies to normals to make herself feel more perfect than she already is. I should hate her for that, for the way she feels, but I don't. I can't. You can't hate a proof when you're near one because you want to be like them. You ache to be like them. You want to be perfect too. And you know that if you weren't proof, you'd act just like they do and feel what they feel and glide through the world with sky color eyes and hair like sunlight, and nothing dirty or broken could ever touch you. Then, when you've had your little adventure in the big, bad, dangerous herb, you go home to eat and live happily ever after. Me, I go home to the cribs. My cube is small and dinky with a chunk of foams on the floor. Not a real bed, but it's way better than not having a place to sleep or just saying, even if the door doesn't lock from the inside. That's a rule in the crib. No door locks because the bankers want to be able to enter anytime they feel like it. They take what they want to, but for some reason they let me keep my old 3D, which is better than nothing. Nobody but me cares about watching 3Ds anymore. Because why waste your time with a crummy hologram movie when you can just put a brand new mind probe and see the whole show inside your head like you were really there. Anyhow, I toss the gummy stuff in the corner, enter another machine and start watching this 3D I've seen like 10,000 times. The one where Colleen Reagan's has to fight his way across the solar system, planet by planet to rescue this gorgeous female who thinks he's dead. So she's going to marry this other guy, which would be a big mistake because the other guy is the one who keeps trying to kill poor Colleen. You've probably seen it. If they still have the old 3Ds. When you read this. If not, trust me. It's a really cool story and usually I get right into it and have fun pretending I'm as big and strong and good looking as Colleen Reagan's. But today I can't concentrate on it. Instead I keep thinking about the old G's and what he said about those who will be alive at some future date. For some reason the idea of future gets inside my head and I won't let go. Future. That's like a time that doesn't exist yet. A world full of people who haven't been born yet, doing things that nobody thought of yet. Also, I keep flashing on the proof girl with the sky-colored eyes. Like somehow she's all mixed up with what happened in the stacks, even though I know she doesn't have any connection to the old commie they call writer. I ate some of the stuff that the proof girl gave me, which is better than the tasteless protein chunks you get from a fruit shoot, but I can't stop thinking about Ryder and how he said. There are things about your life that are specifically only to you. Secret things. What I don't understand is, how did he know? Does it have anything to do with the pile of scraps Mark he calls a book? There's one thing I do know. Sooner or later I'll have to go back to the stacks and find out. Chapter 5. 3 rules for Billy Bismo. I'm sound asleep when the bully bankers invade my cube. Spaz! Spaz boy, wake up! The bankers are kicking through my stuff, checking out the goodies. One of them is pawing the edibles the proof girl gave me when Billy Bismo smacks him. Leave it! Billy says, grinning at me. You with us, Spaz boy? You with us or against us? I'm with you, I say, trying to get my brain in gear. I'd be deep inside this crazy, confusing dream about Colleen Reagan's rescuing the proof girl, or maybe the proof girl was rescuing him. Doesn't matter. What matters is paying attention to Billy Bismo, because you never know what Billy is really thinking, and that's just one of about 1,000 different things that makes him dangerous. Billy with his this junk came from the stacks, he asked me, even though he already knows the answer. That's all he had, the one called Ryder. You're sure he's not hiding nothing rich, nothing special? He's just an old gummy, I say, that's all he had. I can't believe I'm lying to Billy Bismo, boss man of the Bangers. What I do care about the old man or his stupid pile of papers. But it's too late to take it back the lie, and anyhow, Billy seems more interested in the edibles. Explain, he says, holding up a copper cheek. So I tell him about the pro girl, how she came to the Maxi Blur attacks and told him to provide for me. Provide for you, Billy says, fingering the scars on his neck as he mulls it over. Why you, boy? Why you in particular? I shrug. I was there, I guess. You mean this pro girl was looking for a charity case? I don't know what a charity case is, Billy. Never mind. What did you say to her? Tell me exactly what you said. She asked me what they call me. I told her. And that's it. Your name. That's it. Billy crouches so that he can study my eyes and see if I'm lying. That always makes me feel like I'm lying, even when I'm telling the truth, which I am about to prove girl. The thing that makes Billy scary is his size, because he's not that much bigger than me. It's in his eyes. Sometimes his eyes are bright and interested, and that makes you want to please him. And then he blinks and his eyes are dead, and you're scared he wants to make you dead too, just for the goal of it, just because he can. He goes, I've heard about this poor girl. She's a slummer. You know what a slummer is, Spaz? Huh? No, I admit. A slummer is a pro who likes to mix with the rest of us. Gives them a thrill that they can't find in Eden. You know what happens to a moment when it gets mixed up with a proof? If the rest of the proofs find out. No. Billy makes a slicing sign across his throat. The idea seems to amuse him. Forbidden, Spaz boy. They'll splash you. They'll cut you red. They'll blow you into particles. So keep away from the pro girl. You see her again, run like your life depends on it, because it does. Do you believe me? Yes. Good boy. Always believe Billy. That's rule number 1. And what's rule number 2? Always obey Billy, I say. Excellent. 3rd rule. Always speak true to Billy. Fantastic. He's acting delighted with me, but I don't know if it's for real or a game he's playing. Not bad for a Spaz boy. Keep it up, kid. Follow Billy's rules and you may live to be as old as the gummy you ripped off. He hands me the proof girl's carbo shake. Go on, he says. Enjoy. Have a taste of Eden. A minute later, they're gone and I'm alone in my cube. For some reason, I'm shaking. No, not for some reason. Because I lied to Billy Bismo. I broke his rules. If he finds out, he might decide to have me cancelled. Or he might decide to let me live, but ban me from the crisps. This favor, they call it. Which means you're on the curb, fending for yourself without protection or shelter. Die for this favor. I don't know which is worse and I don't want to find out. Chapter 6. The thing about being. Later that day, I got back to the stacks. My plan is I'll finish ripping up the old gummy and take his worthless papers the junkie calls a book and give it to Billy Bismo like I should have done in the first place. That's my plan, but in the end it doesn't work out that way. This time Littleface pops up as soon as he sees me coming. Chuck's bar. He chirps, holding out his dirty colored hands. I go, you know any other words? Huh? He shakes his head. Chucks. I get one out of my pouch and give it to him, and he gulps it down and holds out his hands again. You know the way, I tell him. Take me to Ryder. Then you get another Chuck's bar. So Littleface guides me through the rows of stacked boxes like before, only this time the old gummy is standing in the door waiting for me. Don't be surprised, he says with a smile. Bad news travels fast in this part of the world. I don't know why, but that hits me hard, the idea that I'm bad news. Of course it's true, me coming back to the stacks is bad news, what else could it be? But he looks so hopeful like she's her. He's sure I'll prove him wrong. Then my plan to rip him off again goes right on the back of my head. Not today, I'm thinking. this look in his watery old gray eyes like he knows something I don't. But for some reason that doesn't make me mad, it just makes me want to know too. But what? What is it he knows? He sees me. He sees the look on my face and goes, something happened. Is it the bangers? Have they cancelled me? I shake my head. Not yet. Not yet, he says. Something real thoughtful. Thank you for being honest with me. If you said nothing to worry about, I know it wasn't the truth, and I'll always want to know the truth. Right, I'm thinking, just like Billy Bismo. Inside, it's cool and shadowy, and of course, there's no furniture, so I sit on the floor with my legs crossed. The old key sits on the crate Bucky uses for a desk. The way light comes in, I can't see his face, and his baggy old one piece makes him look thin and shapeless at the same time like he's lost inside his clothes. I've been thinking about you, Ryder says, about your story. I've told you, I don't have a story. His head turns and now I can see his eyes, how big and old and kind they are. What he really saying is, you don't have a story worth telling, he says. Let me be the judge of that. I want to stand up and show that he's got no right to tell me what I really mean. What makes him think that he knows so much? But instead I sit there and keep my mouth shut. Maybe because underneath it all I know what he says is true. Start at the beginning, he suggests. What's the first thing you remember? The first thing? That's easy. The first thing is when I got my little sister Bean. The thing about Bean is she isn't really my sister. We're not blood, but I didn't know that then because I didn't know that Kay and Charlie were my real mother and father. All of that came later when I started to grow, but when Bean came along, I was maybe 4 years old, and that's the first thing I remember. This time, this tiny, witchy little face wrapped in a soft blanket, her squinty eyes and her little lips all smooched up like she's been sucking a lemon. How she smelled like warm milk, baby stuff. She was only maybe a few days old, okay, but what I really remember is what happened when she saw me staring down at her. Her old face smiled and her little hand came up and tried to grab my nose, and that was it. I loved Bean right from that moment, and it never changed. No matter what happened, all the bad things later, and me losing my family unit because of her, it never made me love Bean any less. So you were fondling, Ryder says, and Bean is your adoptive sister. Fondling, an old word, he says, but useful. Like you were found on the curb and taken in. Do you have any knowledge of your origins, your birth mother, father? I shrug like who cares, because it doesn't matter. Nobody wants to claim his past boy, that's for sure. Never mind that part for now, Ryder says. Tell me more about your sister. Tell me about Bean. The thing that's really important to understand about Bean is that she only sees the good in people and never the bad. Because my foster dad, I suppose. He's basically okay, but he's got this bad side too, and Bean never saw it. Like she'd erased the idea of bad from her mind. So when everything blew up, and Charlie, that's his name, Charlie. So when everything blew and Charlie got it fixed, and it said that I was growing up dangerous, and that somehow Bean might get affected with whatever it was that made me a spasm. Bean never saw it coming. When Charlie finally told me I had to leave, that he was banning me from the family unit, Bean tried to hug me and tell me it couldn't be true. He didn't mean it. Big mistake. Because Charlie pulled her off me and smacked her right in the face and called her terrible names. Names she didn't even understand. Names no one should ever have to hear. What did Charlie think? Ryder wants to know. Did he think that you and Bean were love mates? I don't know what he thought, I say. I've never touched Bean that way, not ever. Even if she isn't blood, she's still my little sister. Ryder watches me for a while like he's waiting for something to happen. For me to react, maybe. And then, when I don't say anything mean more, he goes, I wish I could say I'm surprised by your foster father's reaction, but the prejudice against epileptics is old. Old as the human race. promises by increasing intelligence and ambition. Yeah, right. The epilepsy is part of what makes you, you. He says, don't hate it. Don't hate the spaz. Is he serious? The spaz is why I lost my family unit. Why I can never see Bean again. Why people run away when it happens. Spaz isn't just a name, it's a warning. Look out for the spaz boy. He might have a fit and bite you. He'll infect you. He'll infect your unborn children. Cast him out. Banish him. Disfavor him. Cancel him. They sometimes whisper. The boil is a monster, a mistake. He never should have been born. But Ryder, he doesn't get it. You think of it as a curse, he says. But the curse is also a blessing. If you didn't have it, you'd be sticking needles in your brain like all the others. Flooding your mind with probes, living in a microbe. Instead of real life, you'd have trouble remembering what happened last week. Never mind when you were 4 years old. You'd have forgotten all about your sister. Shut up, I say, holding my hands to my ears. Shut up. But the stupid gummy won't shut up. He's trying to tell me something important even though I'm covering my ears. And I don't want to hear it, and I don't want to think about who I am or what's wrong with me or why I'm out here at the edge of the herb, at the edge of the known world, listening to some old mobo so crazy he thinks about the future when everyone knows that the future doesn't exist.